Sometimes it's the people who look at you and decide that you are the same as you were before. They hear one clear sentence or phrase and they think everything must be fine. They want you to be who you were because that is easier for them. Today, we are talking about how to protect your energy and your identity when someone you love is stuck in denial. We are also talking about the other side of this, what it feels like to be the parent who is terrified of what this new version of their child means. This is real, this is emotional, but this is also where the healing starts. When Alvin and Jill planned their holiday trip to Alvin's sister's house, everything was in place. They had practiced his small talk stories. They had their quiet breaks mapped out. They even booked an earlier flight so he would be able to arrive rested and with more energy. But a few days before, Alvin's sister called and she said, "We plan to do everything like we did last year. And by the way, mom decided to come too." Last year, his mom thought everything was normal, and it was until everything changed. Jill told me Alvin set his phone down after that phone call and stared at the wall. She said he looked smaller. He looked like he had already disappointed her. And he felt that way because his mom still talked to him like he was the old Alvin. She spoke fast. She expected instant answers. She waved off his pauses and said, "You're fine, just spit it out." She would tell relatives and friends, "He's doing great," even when he was exhausted and struggling and working so hard on his recovery. For her, this came from love, but it erased his experience. And every time this happened, Alvin felt like he had let her down by having aphasia at all. That is the moment that denial by a loved one hurts the most. When someone else's hopes collide with the reality you live in your body every single day. But this is also the moment where change can happen. Because Alvin did not just prepare for the holiday, he prepared to lead the relationship. I want you to hold on to that thought because we'll come back to it and discuss what happened next. Let's talk about what the person with aphasia needs. We have 3 pillars. Pillar 1, tell the truth early about your aphasia experience. People who love you often will fill in the gaps with their old memories of you. Alvin's mom was not trying to be difficult. She wasn't trying to be hurtful. She was trying to hold on to the version of him that she understood because he had always been the strong, capable son, able to do everything. Aphasia can be invisible in many ways. The recovery, the processing of who you were before to who you are now, to what your dreams were to what the reality is now. And that person with aphasia has to build back each of those parts of who they are in their recovery. And aphasia can be invisible until the moment that it's not. And sometimes that gap creates confusion for everyone. This is why he and Jill decided to send a note before the trip. And it said, "Mom, Alvin has aphasia. He does best when you talk to him in a quieter environment, one topic at a time, and pause to let him respond." What that note to his mom did was name the truth early, what Alvin actually needed from his mom, so that she could not pretend that she didn't understand what he needed. And because he and Jill hadn't done this before now, they weren't sure how it was going to land. But it ended up that this is exactly what was needed because this was not blame, this was relief. This was not calling his mom out or accusing her in any way. This was just stating facts. He has aphasia. This is what he needs. Early truth can help reset expectations before they turn into pressure. Pillar 2, set the structure so you do not get pulled back into the old version of you. Overwhelm is not random. It usually comes from someone else's pace. Let that sink in for a minute. Someone else's pace. How fast they talk, how quickly they move topics. So Alvin and Jill created a simple plan. They knew what the day's events were going to look like. So Alvin purposefully planned when he would have conversations with people, different things that he wanted to make sure he enjoyed, topics that he wanted to discuss. And what this did was Alvin started taking control. Instead of avoiding and letting his mom set the pace, he set the pace. And what happened as a result is this plan softened her assumptions. It also allowed Alvin to show up as he wanted to in the day without performing the way he did before. When the structure is clear, the pressure can ease and compassion can grow. Pillar 3, practice lines that protect you when emotions can run high. Sometimes the hardest moments with family are the predictable ones. The fast hello, the jumping straight into a conversation or activities, the kitchen chaos, the rapid fire questions that come from love because people are trying to catch up. These are the moments where Alvin used to shut down when he would get with his family. But now he was not letting that take control. So he practiced 3 lines until they felt natural. Give me a little more time. I know what I want to say. I'm going to take a break and come back. And what these lines did was helped him stay grounded when emotions and expectations could collide. He practiced this at home so that he felt strong delivering. This is self-leadership. So let's talk about what the family member in denial needs. Most denial is not about being mean. It often comes from a place of grief. And this was the truth for Alvin's mom. She remembered her son debating politics at the table, not being afraid of any conversation, stepping in to support other people or take on other people's battles. Or maybe for you, it's the dad who remembers coaching baseball and who you were before the stroke and aphasia. Your dad remembers you in all of the things you've done in your life, all your accomplishments. And that's who he expects to see at the holidays. But maybe that's not who you are now. Maybe because aphasia is present, you show up a little differently. And that's hard for them to accept. Or maybe it's the sister who remembers your dad jokes, your loud laughing, how you would play with the grandkids. When people do not understand aphasia, they cling to the version of you that feels safe to them. Alvin's mom was not rejecting him. She was grieving quietly and hoping she would not have to face how much he had changed. Here's the first truth. Family, friends, those who are important to you, they need to understand aphasia in a way that is simple and concrete. Second truth, they need to understand how slower conversations, pausing to let you come up with your words or finish your thought, waiting for you to ask for help instead of jumping in, that these are not a sign of less intelligence. They are just an adaptation, a new strategy that needs to be in place to help you participate. Here's the third truth. They also need permission to feel sad without placing their sadness on the person with aphasia. When Jill talked privately at the end of the day with Alvin's mom, she said, he is still who I remember my son to be. And now I understand that he just needs me to do things a little bit differently. And I can do that. That conversation, plus everything else Alvin did that day, that opened the door. And sometimes a door is all a parent needs to walk towards a new version of their child instead of away from it. So, how do we navigate denial in real time? Because sometimes, even with a plan, someone will still say, you look fine. And then someone will say, oh, just talk louder. Or someone might say, he used to love to do this. So when denial does show up, as Alvin and Jill planned for, they used a tag team plan. If someone pushed too hard, Alvin would step in for himself. He would advocate for himself. If Jill heard it, she might join in the conversation and gently, with calm confidence, say, he gets what you're saying. Just give him a sec. That one line kept the responsibility both on and off of Alvin's shoulders. Working this as a team made all the difference for him. If these topics and strategies are helping you, I want you to make sure you catch the video before this one. We will link it at the end because these are tag team videos and they are part of our holiday series. But if you want more real tools, strategies, how to make your aphasia celebrations more inclusive, and this is any kind of celebration, we have a book for you. Aphasia Inclusive Celebrations. It's available now in paperback and digital. And right now we're running a special on it. Check it out at lifeaphasiaacademy.co. And tell us in the comments, what is one expectation people have of you that feels heavy or unrealistic? After the holidays, Alvin and Jill talked about how the day had gone and felt that his mom had never seen him for the new person that he is. Although they were still working on their relationship, he felt they had made tremendous headway. It did not fix everything. She did not understand every detail of his aphasia or what he needed, but she did slow down. She waited. She listened. And she was willing to engage in a way she hadn't since the time of his stroke. And Alvin felt her son again, not her project. And what mattered even more was the choices that Alvin made. His first instinct had been to protect himself by pulling away. He would not disappoint her. But this time, he did not hide. He chose to help his mom see the person who he is now. He's not a broken version of the past. He is a man who has grieved and works consistently to rebuild who he is and to live life again on his own terms. And that shift created something new for both of them. And that's the power of telling the truth early, setting a structure, giving people a way to meet you where you are. In our next episode, we are talking about how to build a travel plan that protects your energy from the moment you pack the suitcase to the moment you return home and walk in your front door. Recovery does not end. Rebuild communication, rebuild connection, rebuild life. This is Life Beyond Aphasia.